Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Catch us all week long. Do it. Do it. Do it.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour live here on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Tsutsuti, along with the Darkwing, Brian Daly.
Yo, distract my mind right now, y'all. Let's go.
And the broken one himself, Rob Povia.
Yo, Sean Kemp out there mispronouncing hockey names like I do.
We welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. And tonight, we talk about the expansion drafts. Yes, it has finally happened. The moment we have all been waiting for. The Seattle Kraken have sort of gotten their roster together. I say sort of because we'll see how many of those guys actually are on the team come opening night. Some of them are, some of them not so much. One of them's already gone. But anyway, the point is that the expansion draft has come and gone, and we will be breaking down the picks. Along with that as well, we will also be talking about possible free agent signings for the Kraken. There are some free agents that are already under contract to them. And on top of that as well, we'll be talking about big transactions that have been going on around the NHL. There have been a pretty decent amount of them, and two of them involving the Flyers. So that will be right here on A2DRadio.com. And we are brought to you by Body Check Wellness. You can get 20% off your order with that A2D code. It is created by one Riley Cote, former tough guy of the Philadelphia Flyers and Phantoms. And also, it's a line of products using edibles, ointments, gummies. It uses hemp, but it also has THC-free products. And at the same time, too, it brings focus and clarity into your life. If you need to get that go-getter kind of mentality, you got to stay focused and stay on track because there's a million different distractions going on, which is very easy to happen in life. Body Check Wellness, that's the place to go, ladies and gentlemen. So use the A2D code, get 20% off, and when Cote is on with us, you get 40% off your order with the A2D code as well. So plenty of good stuff right there for you. And we go to our poll question brought to you by the Counseling Center, Sunrise Detox. If you or a loved one needs to get the help that they need from mental or drug addiction, call 856-651-8117. Don't waste time. That is a very serious situation. That can send your whole life into a tailspin or your loved one's life into a tailspin. So get the help that they or you need. And we go to the Twitter question, and it is the Seattle Kraken taking Carson Twarynski is a tough loss for the Flyers. Agree or disagree? As many were hoping the Flyers would lose Jake Voracek or Shane Gostisbehere. We figured a pipe dream on the Jake Voracek one as we started to see that contract. They're like, I don't know if they take that. However, though, maybe they take Gostisbehere. However, they took neither. They decided to take Twarynski instead. So, gentlemen, agree or disagree? Is this a tough loss for the Flyers?
I don't think so. I think this is he was a fill-in guy for the Flyers, a bottom line guy. Has an opportunity to go back with Dave Haxtell, who really gave him an opportunity before, and has an opportunity to be a bottom six guy for the Kraken. And I think this is going to benefit the Flyers in the long run, believe it or not. I think it's not going to free up a ton of cap space, but I think it's going to allow for a couple more moves to be made. And yeah, so.
Yeah, man, I gotta ultimately disagree. Do you get a little weaker up the center, especially in your bottom six? You do, especially as you're reformulating the core of this team. And Twarynski is a guy that's been known to be called up on a moment's notice and fill in admirably, playing good energy line minutes for a bottom six player. So it's a loss, but I got to disagree. It's not a tough loss. Certainly, the Kraken had a plan going in, going young, going inexpensive, leaving room for trades after the fact to build from there. And, Carson Twinsky fits that bill. I think we were certainly hoping that they would have taken Gostisbehere so we didn't have to trade his contract with 2 draft picks to free up that cap space. I'm sure Jake Voracek was on the wish list. I think the Flyers press had to have been surprised, boys. What do you think?
Oh, for sure. Definitely surprised. I mean, the majority of the fan base is probably surprised. I think a lot of them were expecting JVR. I know a lot of people wanted Voracek, but the majority that I talked to wanted JVR. And the fact that they didn't go either way and they went cheap says a lot about their mindset and their mentality moving forward as an organization. They're not building for right now. They're doing more of like a 180 that Vegas did. Vegas went in and just boom, they wanted to come in with a bang, and they did. So I kind of like what they did. It didn't make sense to me at first. I'm like, why are they drafting all these young guys?
Right.
And then it kind of, the plan kind of started to form. You got your key guys now. You bring in a lot of guys that you can still develop and turn into NHL stars. And you still have plenty of room to start signing free agents, make trades like they made one this afternoon. So I like where they're at. So I'm not really all that surprised. I see the picture, I see the blueprint in front of me, and let's see what they do in free agency.
Yeah, I got you on that one. Meanwhile, we got Frank chiming in. That roster the Kraken selected was hella weird. They had so many opportunities on their plate. The Atlanta Thrashers would have loved to have them.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to what I was saying before. You got the blueprint in front of you. They're looking at the bigger picture. They're not building for right now. They're building for down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had Tom chiming in, my road dogs. What's up, Tom?
What's up, Tommy?
And we had Prism chiming in, let's fucking go. Best hockey show around. Thank you, Priz. And let's see here. We've got Clay Harbison saying...
I just want to give a shout out real quick before we jump on the Clay here. I just want to give a shout out to Chucks. Chucks, hope Grayson's feeling better, bud. I know he said he was feeling down, so hope he's feeling better, pal.
Yeah. And Clay Harbison saying the filters got my boy Ryan from the Predators. Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a quick moment here about a new player coming to the Orange and Black.
Wait, he called them the filters?
Yes.
I'm kind of curious to that name. It's the first time I've heard that.
His response to the Twitter poll is, no, it's not a loss. Benny's Nation, what's up, Benny? Saying, disagree. I thought that they were taking Knack, so I will take it.
Well, Knack was protected.
So
they couldn't. Oh, yeah, Rob, my guy.
I just answered him back with that very thing, so I didn't interrupt you guys. But I think Chuck knew that. He knew what type, maybe it didn't surprise him as much as I just said, that they kind of knew what their strategy was a little bit, going for younger, cheaper players, high energy guys. And Knack is certainly a step above, maybe a step and a half above Turinsky. So that was the prudent move, exposing the veteran and trying to allure in that direction when you keep a younger energy guy on your team and a guy that really has shown talent at all 5 facets of the game.
Yeah. And got Jake Frill. What's up, Jake? Saying, to be honest, I completely forgot about him until they said he was going to Seattle. That's going to be understandable. And Dan saying, I still can't believe that Seattle Kraken is the thing. Well, if you can't believe it now, wait till the Flyers face them, because that's the number 2 game for the regular season for the Philadelphia Flyers. In Philly, by the way, not in Seattle.
Oh, so the Flyers get them early.
Yes, yes.
I'll give him this though. Tremendous logo. Got reminded of it again. That as a serpent was a fine choice. And they're going to have the great intermission or in between plays on the big feed. With when you got Liam Neeson going, release the Kraken.
That one's going to get so overused. Oh my god.
To piggyback off of what you just said, Rob, I thought they're jerseys are pretty fly.
They are.
Especially the roadie. I thought the roadie sweater looked really good, and you forget because you haven't seen them in a while, and then you see them with the letterings, and you see them on some of the players. They look good.
Yeah,
they look good
Yeah, those jerseys are going to be hard to come by this coming season.
for a while. Yeah, for a while,
Yeah.
it'll probably be one of the hotter selling jerseys.
Yeah,
My prediction.
yeah, that's a good safe one right there. That'll probably come to pass. Jake saying, how do you think Seattle did in the expansion draft? I felt like they passed on some really solid pieces they could have had. Well, again, Bry was saying it. They have a different game plan than say Vegas did, and so far they're acting it out. I mean, to be fair, I give Francis credit. He's not the type of GM who's tempted by a big name. You know what I mean? Which, when you see a big name available, sometimes you get those big wide-eyed moments like, oh my God, we can have him on our team. And then you think like, oh, it's going to be cool. He's going to be on our team and everything. Then you realize, oh, wait a minute. There's probably a reason why they left him unprotected. So it's probably a good idea not to go down that path. They didn't take a guy like, say, Jake Voracek. They didn't take they didn't take Carey Price. They had made that very well known they weren't taking Carey Price. So, and
I mean, the ownership gave him the green light. I guess I guess Ron Francis and Dave Haxtell saw something that they didn't like, and could maybe have been the injuries that somehow out of nowhere came up and nobody talked about. But I see John, I see Bryce, I see Priz, Benny. What's going on, guys? Anthemio, I see you too. What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's doing well.
That boy Free saying,
Benny,
yo, fam, what's up?
Bryce. How come you guys aren't members yet? $9.99 a month. You get all kinds of perks. You can come on a show with us. You get all kinds of Money Pot podcasts, videos, picks, all that other fun stuff. Shout outs all the time. You get sports, like I said, sports picks from the Money Pot podcast. Get a lot of perks for $9.99 a month. So I don't know what you guys are waiting for.
Absolutely. And the guys on Money Pot podcast, you'll be making that $9.99 back in no time with the picks they give you.
You'll be making way more than that $9.99.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have a profit.
Oh, yeah. Young Dot saying, after Ghost was traded, do you guys think Tarasenko will find his way on the Flyers some way, somehow, or do you guys think the Flyers are going in another direction? It's interesting because there has been talks that, the Flyers are still kind of in the running for Tarasenko, and that there is still interest there apparently. Whereas we heard that the cool off from Jack Eichel is officially there. They have apparently, from what Buffalo Sports Radio has been saying, the Flyers are not as interested in Eichel anymore as they were. So it is an interesting situation. With that cooling off, maybe they are looking at Tarasenko a little bit more. I mean, it's interesting. I'll say this. While there is a red flag of his injuries, Tarasenko does bring a lot of offense, but the question is, should the Flyers go after him? The question is more money. And we've been trying to shave things off the cap. Do you want to put yourself in a position where you're putting more money onto the cap after shaving some off? Or is that what we're making room for? That's just, it's interesting to bring out, but I don't know. Just like, I feel like if you're getting rid of cap, best not to take more cap on, especially if you've got signings you got to do, particularly like a Carter Hart signing. That is very important.
Or Sanheim, who's a fairly important signing that needs to get done too. And then you got room. You got to find and I don't think they should, but I think if you do go after a backup, you need to sign a backup. I think they should go after Sandstrom, but let him rock out behind Carter Hart, let him platoon a little bit till he gets his head right. And then you still got to go after another defenseman. You got to figure out your offense. You got to find a shooter. You need a score. Yeah, I mean, could be Tarasenko. I mean, his injuries kind of make him meh to me. When he's healthy, he's a 30-goal scorer easily, especially with a guy like Drew on his line. And I guarantee you that he would be on the first line with Drew. But, I mean, there's other guys out there. if they don't go after Tarasenko, I'm sure they'll figure out something else. Chuck Fletcher definitely has a couple more moves up his sleeve. I would love to see him go after Sutter. I think Ryan Sutter would be a great fit on the third pair of this team. A little bit more experience, a little more leadership, and he brings in a physical part of his play. So,
Yeah. Bry's breaking up there a little bit there. Rob, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, I like the move for Tarasenko. It fills a big need on this team for a sniper. Now, I know we've discussed on the show, some health concerns with him not staying healthy or regular, but even if I get 55 to 60 games of a pure sniper, it fits a big need for this team. So I think in either event, Chuck, their main objective, and they came out and said it, is we need to lower our goals against. And they examined who were their worst defensemen at that. Did Gostisbehere have a tremendous rebound season last year, coming off the knee surgeries, playing healthy? To an extent, he did. -2 on the season, 40 points scored. He had his moments, but he was just very porous defensively, and ultimately just, when you have a player that was waived and no one claimed him, and then you got to trade him for picks just to free up the cap space, that's an issue. It speaks a statement in terms of where his game is. I wish nothing. I love Ghost Bear, man. I'm gonna miss putting those emojis down, the ghost and the bear together. But I wish him on Arizona, and I hope he continues this upward trend. But in the meantime, it's going to free up cap space to where it just makes more moves possible. At a time where the flat cap is restricting a lot of teams, so it makes him a player for Tarasenko. I think it makes him a player if your main objective is to still, reduce those goals against. Yes, trading for Ryan Ellis was huge. I think that was a great move that I'm sure we'll talk about later on the show. Don't stop there. Make a play for Dougie Hamilton too. Really revamp this defense and have some good, strong veterans that these young pups can learn from. I mean, putting Provy and Ellis together on that's just going to be so good for Provy.
Oh, absolutely. Ryan Ellis is a huge leader, brings a ton of experience. He's a guy that's not afraid to get in somebody's face when he needs to be, and I love the deal. You didn't really give up a ton to get him.
Right.
I know everybody loved the potential of Ghost or of Phil, and you wanted to see what Nolan Patrick would do this year, but it is what it is. You address the need, and you can't really. You got a top 15 defenseman in Ryan Ellis.
Yeah.
You can't really complain about that. That's something that they needed. That's what everybody complained about, and now everybody wants to complain that Nolan Patrick's gone.
Right.
Whatever.
Right. Well, I mean, some answers to these questions are going to be determined tomorrow. Maddie, if you don't mind putting up Wilson's comment asking about the draft and who we think the Flyers will go for. Sure. It depends on who the Flyers are getting in the draft. I mean, they do have the 14th overall pick still, even after trading their 2nd and 7th to Arizona. To answer Brian's question to lead off, I mean, obviously the guy I would want is Owen Power, but that's not happening. He's going to stay with number 1. That's that. I mean, I know Daly has been, praising his efforts immensely, and I've looked into it since then, and he is a fine young player. I think at 14, the player that the Flyers should go for is this kid out of Chicago, out of the USHL, Matthew Coronado. He put up 48 goals in 54 games last season, and he fits that need. He's a winger with a bullet of a shot. He'd be that sniper, but he's no pushover though. He said he's reminding scouts of Cole Caulfield and Alex DeBrincat. So, I mean, get a pure sniper in the prospect pipeline, build up from there. I'm not saying that that's going to make you not go for Tarasenko, but when you get one more to go with Forrester, maybe you don't have to make a push or the risk for the injury side of Tarasenko. Changes things up depending on who you get tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know Anthony, I was saying, he'll smile when Fletcher trades Voracek. Good question for you guys here is, we didn't see Voracek get selected. We didn't see him moved in a side deal. You think there's a possibility that he gets packaged with the 13th overall and gets moved tomorrow? I think there's a good chance of it.
It's
There is.
possible. Yeah, I mean, the phones are probably going to be ringing off the hook for, Fletcher's been saying changes are coming, and so far he has kept that promise. So, I mean, I do not doubt it. If we walk away by the end of tomorrow night, when the first round is all said and done, I wouldn't be surprised if Voracek is a member of a new team and we parted ways with a first round pick.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make a move. You want to make this team better. And Fletcher said moves are coming. Can't sit on your hands. I mean, I know some people don't agree with me, but I think they got plenty in the pipeline right now that they can afford to give up the 13th pick to get a player that's going to help now address the need in the on the offense, which is, they need a sniper. They need a scorer. They need somebody who's going to pop the puck in the net 30 to 40 times. And in order to do that, you got to move a guy with the contract. And to John's comment here, John, one of our A2D members, saying cap space.
Mm,
It freed up a little bit. Yeah, you freed up a little bit. Now you can focus on getting Hart and Sanheim done, which is another comment that John made earlier that I completely agree with. So that's going to be your main focus.
Yep.
And now you package the 13th, and you package either JVR or Voracek. Doesn't matter which guy, because you're going to free up some money there, and you make a move for the draft. You got Forster, who's ready to come up, or could potentially be ready to come up. You got Zayd Wisdom, who's showed that he could be ready. Cam York's going to be on the defensive side. You have Jay O'Brien, who could potentially be training camp body. You have Wade Allison, who's ready. So there's guys you can plug into certain situations, but none of these guys are going to be what you need right away, and that's a 30-goal scorer. 30-plus goal scorer, I should say.
Frosty might have the most potential at that, but I don't think right away.
Yeah.
Can he stay healthy? That's his big question right now. That's his question mark.
Rosca saying Patrick Laine to the Ducks.
He wishes.
Meanwhile, we got Richard Lampman saying, new here, want to keep watching someone tell me what A2D is. A2D is basically the home of real sports talk. Basically, we don't bullshit. That's basically what that is. We tell it like it is, and at the same time, too, we like to have fun while we do it. Whereas, some people are kind of stuffy and kind of snotty on the radio. We don't like to be that way. We like to welcome everybody in and have a good time with everyone. So, welcome to the fam.
Yeah, Rich, HUD is exactly what you think it is. It's agree to disagree. Let's debate. Let's talk it out. We'll have a conversation. At the end of the day, we're good. We're talking sports. That's it. No personal attacks, nothing like that. We talk sports. We agree. We disagree. Butt heads a little bit. End of the day, let's go to the bar, kick back a beer.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
No ego, no agenda.
That's most important. No agenda here. No agenda.
Yep. Absolutely. We got Mike chiming in. Hextall is already ruining the Penguins. Can you guys take him back, please?
How exactly? All I see is good moves.
Are you upset that he traded McCann and then McCann wound up getting taken in the expansion draft? What's the big thing you're upset about? That's what I want to know. That's the only move that I've seen that's been made by Hextall this offseason so far. So far. There could be something else going on that I didn't realize. But all right, let's see here. Got John saying, I want the Flyers to focus on re-signing Sanheim and Hart after those deals are done. Then I want to find Sanheim a reliable defensive partner, which is that's actually a very realistic, good, solid goal to have right now. You don't want to, there's a word for it. Like I said before with Francis, you don't want to get those gigantic, googly eyes over the big names like a Tarasenko or something like that, and then take on more cap that you don't necessarily need later on, especially if he winds up playing very well for Philadelphia, which the odds are he would. It's just one of those things of you don't want to get those eyes because we know the Flyers' offense is fine. We know that they're capable of playing well. Do they pass it too much? Absolutely they do. But there's a lot of teams that do it. Vegas did it too. They were guilty of passing it too much, especially in the playoffs. They were guilty of it as well. So the thing is we're not the only ones who do it. Yes, I would like the Flyers to cut it out. But same token too, I'm not willing to say, okay, let's go grab this big offensive player, put on more cap, and then hurt ourselves in re-signing players. So I understand, and I think John has a good idea of what we should be doing in this offseason.
Yeah, RFA's always got to be priority number one, especially when they're one's a franchise cornerstone, and Sanheim is, definitely has that top 4 NHL potential. So, you got to make those two guys your prime focus.
And Benny's Nation saying, now that Bernier is no longer with Detroit, do the Flyers make a move? I don't think he re-signs with Carolina. Interesting.
No, if the Flyers go after, I think Bernier would be a great option, but I think he's going to cost you a little bit more than you want to spend. I think Brian Elliott you can get for another year for 1.5, or you give Felix Sandstrom a shot. He's already 25 years old, 26. Give him a shot at the NHL level, and if he plays well enough, maybe you move him. You move him for another piece. Or if Carter Hart doesn't work out like you think he's going to, maybe you got a solid piece there as well. So you have options here. I know Brian Elliott knows Carter Hart's tendencies a little bit better than Bernier would. So, it's familiar. It's comfort. Same with Sandstrom. But, it is what it is. But, for them to go after Bernier, I think it would be a good move, but I think it's going to cost a little bit more.
Gotcha. Aunt DeMeo saying, you mean trade deadline in March? Can't wait that long. Hope he's gone tomorrow. He really doesn't want Jake here, and I understand why. I totally get it. There's very good reasons why Jake shouldn't be here.
Yeah, no, and me and Ant were talking a little bit. He doesn't, not that he doesn't want him here, but I don't think he wants to wait till March to move him. I think, honestly, the draft would be the most ideal to move a contract like that.
Yeah, I got you on that one. Jesse saying, what's up, boys? Who called the Mark G pick a long time ago? That's right.
Jesse, you puffing your chest over the Mark Giordano move? Come on, man. You're better than that.
Put up Jesse's other comment about 40 goal scorers. It's phenomenal.
Nice. Apparently, Prism's playing NHL 94 Rewind, so there you go. That's living life good right there. John saying the Flyers finally did Provy right with the Ellis trade. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then Young Das saying, after the Voracek trade request came out, any possibility we do a player-for-player swap? It really, it depends on the situation with that, because Jake, if you're going to do a player-to-player swap, it's usually the equivalent in terms of cap, and you don't want to do that. With him, you just want to get him off the books, because a lot of teams don't want to trade. They don't want to trade for a player like Jake Voracek, who, yes, he's a great player and everything, but you hear all these problems he's having in the locker room possibly. On top of that, it seems like he makes a lot of errors on the ice sometimes when it comes to his passing. Nothing
his points production's down. Bottom line, Matty, right?
Yeah, that too. It's just overall, I would say you don't want to do a player-for-player swap with him, especially if you're trying to cut cap. You're just trying to cut loose. And if that means giving up a pick to do it, so be it. It is what it is. You just go with it and say, fuck it. We have to cut this cap off. We need Hart. We need Sanheim. We cannot afford to keep this guy.
Plus, the player you're getting back is going to be of the same ilk. You know what I mean? That guy that is coming to try to prove that his career's not over. Who you getting? Dustin Brown? You know what I mean? Come on now. If you get Toffoli, no, that's not happening. But I'd be cool with that in terms of money for money. But you're not going to get that. So you're selling low. You know what I mean? So you have that cap, and you're still not getting the value. At least this way, you get, to your point, Matty, you can shed the cap and then have room to bring in a Tarasenko, who obviously is a step ahead, or of that Toffoli ilk.
Yeah. So let's see here. We've got Raska. Oliver Ekman Larson will be traded next.
Actually, I kind of agree with that. I know OEL's been trying to get out of Arizona, and I'm sure teams will take him.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm definitely sure. You got this guy
price
Brian
tag is
Daly
gonna
chiming
be-
in here.
Yeah, what
Could
a
you,
good
could, you,
guy is.
could you go back and find that Jesse comment about the 40 goal scorers in Philadelphia? It's a phenomenal comment.
Where
What's up,
is
Don?
Let me see here. Gonna go find Jesse's comment here.
And while you do that, Kevin Dixon, what's up, Kev? Says, what do you think of Yanni Gord going to Seattle? I love it, but Jimmy's going to be out for the next 5 months.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
He's
long
having
term
surgery.
now.
Yeah.
Long term, long term plan. What up, Don?
D money in the house.
Mm-mm-mm.
Tom-
I like the Jonas Donskoy too. I told you that the other day. I think that was a fine move too. Good character guy.
Very cool.
There were some good picks and there were some head scratchers. And when you pointed out that this is all for the long term plan, I get it. But they definitely passed to Jake's point earlier. They passed on some talent that they could have had.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the beauty that's most of that talent that they passed up on, man, they're unrestricted free agents, so they're not out on them.
Right.
They can still go after. Seattle has plenty of money. They can still go after Gabriel Landeskog. They might not be able to go after Carey Price, but I'm sure there's another goaltender out there they can go after. Although I think they're going to go with Chris. I don't even know how to say his last name. Derringer, whatever, dude from Florida. That's what I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him dude from Florida. You can rock with him, but
yeah. Jesse
that's
saying
pretty good.
40 goal scorer in Philadelphia. All right, slow down. I'm shocked when someone hits 25.
Well, who was the last one? Gagne or Carter? One of those two guys.
Wait a minute. How many did
JC?
Giroux have? How many did Giroux have in his 100-point season?
25?
Okay, just wondering. I forgot how many he had in that 100-point year.
It was
So-
25 or 30.
So last one, I believe, it would have to be Gagne.
It was either Gagne or Carter. One of those two guys were the last 40-goal scorer the Flyers have had.
Yeah, you had to have been. Well, we'll take a look at that in a moment. But anyway, let's see. Mike Eisenhower saying you trade for Patrick Laine? Nah, I don't want Patrick Laine. He seems to have problems everywhere he's going. And
Maybe.
let's see here. We got Tim McAllister. Did you guys like the Ellis trade? Yes.
Loved it.
Yes.
Great move.
Very much liked that trade. And let's see here. Any major comments here? Ted chiming in. What's up, Ted? Saying, with Tarasenko, how far does that push us? What are your expectations for the Flyers with him and Ellis?
I think they're a playoff team regardless.
Yeah.
I think Tarasenko just kind of pushes them from being a wild card, which I think that's what they are right now, into a division spot. So I don't think the Islanders are going to be as good as people think. I think they're actually going to backtrack. Who else? Washington's probably going to be about the same team as they were last year. Rangers are going to be better. I think the Devils will wind up being better. Columbus is going to be in the same spot again. So, the Flyers are going to have their work handled for them, so they're going to need to get a guy like a Tarasenko or another guy. I don't even know who's available at the moment. I'll have to look again, but you never know. Trades in the draft tend to shock a lot of people.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. I know when bringing up the Rangers, that was a fine pick by the Kraken going for Colin Blackwell.
Oh,
who's
yeah.
Great late game goal scorer. Got a nice touch around the net. I think he'll be a good asset, a low key guy fitting the mold there as well. One option for goaltender that I was looking up, I happened to glance at Blackwell's name, that made me think of it. You happened to mention the Rangers, but another goalie that they selected from the Caps, a guy that had a down year that kind of put Samsonov into the spotlight, but a guy that I like for the Capitals and could be a good goaltender for Seattle, Vanacek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was a good pick as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think Vanacek, he showed something with Washington this past season, and then he had a tough go, I know he suffered injury or two. But then on top of that, though, he stepped up to the plate, though, when Samsonov wasn't able to fill in. I mean, he then had to step into the playoffs. Unfortunately, the team in front of him didn't exactly live up to expectations in the playoffs against the Bruins, but I wouldn't put that on him. I think he did well this year, so he may very well wind up showing something in Seattle. It's a big chance for him to prove, hey, I could be a starter in this league. It's a big chance for him.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, what's up, Don Don? All right, guys.
Say what up to Don. We love the Don. We know he's here.
By the way, guys, did you see Ted's new icon? Like that creepy ass face he's got going on here? Look at that shit. What the hell?
Excellent.
Anyway. All right, so let's take a look here, guys. Let's see. We've got the Seattle Kraken. I've got their draft picks right on up here. So we're going to take a look at them. Even though we did talk about some of them here, we might as well dive in a little deeper onto this and break it down.
Some of the other names we haven't mentioned. Absolutely. It's a great idea.
So let's get started here with Boston. And it may sound a little weird and manic, everything I'm about to write up. It's just because this is as soon as I found out I wrote it down. So, but anyway, Boston, Jeremy Lauzon, that's a very good pick because the Bruins, Lauzon was really good for them in this previous season on the defense. So that's a tough loss for Boston, I think. They really could have used him on the blue line, but I'm sure the Bruins will find somebody. They always pull magic out of their ass for some fucking reason. They've got a horseshoe somewhere up there. But nonetheless, Jeremy Lauzon into Seattle. What are you guys thinking about this pick from the Boston Bruins?
I think it's a good pick. I like where they're headed. They went defensive heavy in this draft, and he's a young player, still has a lot of developing to do. But what he's done in this league already has been good. He's shown he can contribute offensively, and he knows how to shut guys down defensively on the. That's something the Bruins love is that style of player. And going to Seattle, I think he could easily be one of those few guys at the age that he's at to find a way onto the opening night roster.
Yeah.
No, right on. I mean, from what I know from Lauzon, he's basically a guy that kills penalties and he's a cheap contract. You know what I mean? So if it's a need there, I think for them, maybe a number 5, number 6 guy. I'm not sure. I mean, he's got a surprising shot, but I don't know. He's a little black hole of offense but I mean that's not what he's paid for though. I mean he contributes to Brian's point. I'm not diminishing that, but that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna kill penalties for you.
Yeah, and that's huge for a team. You're gonna need to kill penalties. You're gonna need to kill them because no team is gonna go penalty-less every night. So you got to figure out who your role players are gonna be. Lauzon is going to be one of those guys, and like I said, he can contribute offensively, and he's got some slick little moves up there stored for when he needs them. And
right,
like I said, he's a good defensive player, and he'll put himself in good position and put himself into the dirty areas to be able to clear a puck or smash a guy behind the boards and be physical.
Yeah, he's a late gamer. He's a late game guy too that can have a little surprising shot there, but I think ultimately you're talking about a team that's coming together for the first time. You're not going to have chemistry like that, especially since they're not done yet in terms of roster manipulation. So when you have poor chemistry, that usually results in penalties called against you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And Benny's Nation saying, I thought for sure Clifton was going to be the guy, but he was not.
That was the guy they passed up. That was the guy they passed up on for sure.
Yeah. Ted saying, were your minds boggled by what Seattle did? They're an AHL team. They could have backed the Brinks trucks to Avs captain and throw everything and sink the money wise at Ovi.
Ovi's not going anywhere.
To Brian, Brian, you mentioned that earlier part of that comment though that could be a plan. I want to steal your thunder there. You made a good point about that earlier.
Yeah, no, Ted, for real, dude. I mean, they're not doing what Vegas did and took the best players to build a team that can win now. They're building a team to win for years to come, and I like where they're at. They didn't have to go after Landeskog right away. He's UFA. Doesn't look like he's going back to Colorado right now. Talks are not going well between them, so he could still wind up in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these guys left themselves plenty of money to play with as far as UFAs go.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And let's see here. We've got from the Buffalo Sabres, the Kraken wound up taking Will Bergen, which is an interesting choice on their part. What did you guys think about that one?
I have no idea who the fuck that is. I'll be honest with you.
I don't really know who he is, so based off of what they said yesterday, he's just another guy who needs to develop a little bit more. You know, he's borderline NHL ready, and he can provide some offensive upside.
All right, then. Next up, Morgan Geekie from the Carolina Hurricanes.
I think it's an underrated move here. Another younger guy, but you know has a lot of doesn't have as much developing to do. Showed that he can definitely play in the NHL, and he played well for Carolina. So I'm not expecting anything less when he goes to Seattle.
It's got a good name. I'll tell you that much. I love the woman that announced him or whatever. Whatnot. It was so cute during the broadcast. But you know, for me, it's just a meh. And I think it's another meh pick. You know, but if it's where they're going, you know, I'm really surprised they didn't go for Nino Niederreiter, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I thought Nino would definitely been the pick there.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, I like what they're doing.
So-
They went defensive heavy and
Young, he's 23.
young defensive heavy. So, like I said before, I'm going to say it, I'm sure, a few more times tonight. Blueprint is building for the future, especially on defense.
Mm-hmm. Next up, from the Detroit Red Wings, Dennis Cholowski. Obviously, they weren't going to get any of the big young names from the Detroit Red Wings, so they went with a prospect instead.
I don't know really much about this kid. I know he's played probably a couple, maybe a small handful of games in the NHL.
Yeah.
Don't know a ton about him. Don, where you at? Let us know who this kid is.
Yeah, Don, feel free to fill in any little tidbits that you know, being the Red Wings fan here of the fam. Next up, we go to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Gavin Bayreuther winds up going to the Seattle Kraken. And I actually misspelled his name twice while trying to write it for when I found out who it was.
You said it fine.
Said it fine, couldn't spell it. Anyway, people with Polish names are like,
Another
you
guy
can hear
I
it and then you
feel
can
that.
respond it, but you will spell it wrong. But anyway,
This might have been one of the lower picks. I mean, this is a guy that he's a career, you know, AHL guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if he ever sees their roster. You know, it's, you know, coming from a low standpoint as they are. You know, I mean, there just weren't very many good options from Columbus. You know what I mean? Yeah, even the higher cap hit guys are coming off poor seasons, so that doesn't make it for a good recipe. You know, for a pick. You know, an expansion draft. You want to take on salary. You want to take on potential with that. You know, upside.
yeah,
No,
I
for
agree. The Don saying he has potential, but I'm more happy we kept Troy Stretcher. Or I'm going to say,
Stecker's a good defenseman. He's a good bottom pairing guy and plays physical, has a little bit of a scoring touch. And when I say little, I mean little scoring touch. So plays more of a physical game, and I'm with D on that one. I'm glad they kept Stecker over and they went for the young guy.
hey, listen though, with the short amount of offense, it's not the size that counts. Let's see here. On to Toronto. Jared McCann, who was, by the way, traded from Pittsburgh to Toronto, pretty much to be taken. So that's pretty much what happened there. And now he's on the Kraken.
I don't hate it. I mean, Jared McCann's a good middle six guy, and he's probably going to play on that second line for now. At least that's what he's going to be penciled in as until they start making a couple more free agency moves and signing guys. But we'll Wasn't sure what was going to happen because I heard it was supposed to be Alex Kerfoot. Or at least that was the leak anyway, and then wound up going with McCann. Like I said, good role player, good playmaker, good setup guy. So they did good picking him yesterday. So I'm not totally upset by it. Little shocked by it, but like I said, that was also after the leak. So
Yeah. From the New Jersey Devils, Nathan Bastian, not a bad player to pick. But, young player again, still a lot to prove, which is pretty much a lot of the players that they chose here. And from the Devils, that's pretty much what you're going to pick from. I know they probably would have preferred if they had taken PK Subban off their hands, but I don't think Seattle would have done that. So,
no, I didn't really pick up on the plan right away, and then I started to really see as I was watching the expansion draft. I'm like, these guys aren't really going after anybody. Little do we know, they're going to go after guys in free agency. So good for them.
and let's see here. So John's saying, so who do you guys like to possibly be Sanheim defensive partner? How much bigger a role does York play now that Ghost no longer? Well, I expect York to play a much stronger role this coming season. As for Sanheim's defensive partner, since Ellis is going to be parked with Provorov, it'll
Brawny?
be interesting. What's up?
Probably Brawny.
Yeah, I could see Braun fitting into that role.
Or you didn't, or maybe you put Braun on the third line with York, and maybe you go with Haig on the second line with Sanheim.
I like that.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, there are options there. There are, and that's if Fletcher decides not to make more changes back there and decides to get someone to do that spot instead of Braun. So
I like Haig a little bit more in that spot with Sanheim because Sanheim is that offensive guy, and he will take the shot. And it's good to have a guy back there like Haig who can play physically, but he's also a better skater than Sanheim. So when Travis inevitably falls over, and he will, because he always does,
yeah,
you have a decent skater in Haig that can back him up.
Sure.
absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense. That kind of defeats my suggestion a little bit because he's not as great of a skater. But if this team still has Sam Moran too, and a big tough bruiser guy to pair with Sanheim. When if he were to continue his uptick in play, and his good play, and make this team, I think that could be a nice pairing. I'm just like I'm a mark for Sam Moran. I am.
And then Prism, we're going to talk about Chicago's loss in a moment. Don't worry. And then John saying, I think we bring in a free agent. I'm kind of feeling the same way. I think Fletcher, I don't think he's done making changes back there. I could see them bringing in a free agent to
Pair up with Dougie Hamilton.
Dougie Hamilton. Put Dougie Hamilton right next to it. That's not a bad choice. It's not a bad choice at all.
No.
And
it's just going to be how much you're going to sign him for. That's
question.
That's
the thing, though. How much salary? Yeah, that's the problem when you got that flat cap and you need to re-sign Hart and you also need to re-sign Sanheim. So that's the tough part. Them's the breaks.
But like I was saying, to John's point, I think we bring in a free agent. That's where Ryan Sutter, I think, falls into play, and I think it's perfect because he's not going to sign a huge deal.
Right
now, apparently,
you can get him on cheap.
Apparently, the Isles have a lot of interest in him, so they may be in the running for him right now. They really want to bring him in.
They should. Like, that back end is still relatively young for the Islanders, so you bring in a guy with a little bit more experience, a little more shutdown ability.
It pains me to say it, but the Flyers should definitely be not so much on Suter. I mean, they should definitely be in on him, but I think they should also be in on Parise too. You can get both of them cheap, and it would pay me to have an ex-Devil wearing the orange and black, but it'd be a good guy to put on the third line with Scotty Lawton.
He would go through. He would go through Flyers rehab. We'll forgive him for all the frustration he caused us when he was a Devil.
and he's got some ability to still be able to score, give you 15 to 20 goals a year.
Yeah, he'd be a good depth player. Benny's Nation saying McCann could be Seattle's Marchessault. That'll be interesting if he does pan out to be, and it's not out of the realm of possibility. Let's see here. We've got Party House Word Group saying, who's going to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning next year in Stanley Cup Finals? We don't know.
I don't think they're going to get there.
They
I think there's going to be
may.
too many changes with this team.
They may, but I don't know. That's hard to see a team going 3 straight. It's hard just to see them do back-to-backs anymore these days. So, I don't know. I think the days of the 4 straight finals appearances are gone.
With the turnover, that's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, let's see here.
Beat.
Back to what we got here for these picks. To Montreal, Cale Fleury, instead of going with Carey Price, which we knew wasn't going to be the pick. So Cale Fleury is the guy that they decide to roll with from Montreal.
I absolutely love this pick. Huge potential from this kid, and they're very high on him. And the fact they didn't protect him is beyond me. And it's just, I love this pick. This is going to be huge for Seattle moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick too. It fits with the motif that we've been talking about. Younger, cheaper. Certainly it may. He might not have like the ability now to make a meaningful NHL impact, but down the road more. And the quote, how should I say? The quote, the great Jay Lethal, who was quoting Ric Flair. I tried the old guy. Young guys are much faster, stronger, and there's 60-minute men, baby.
What's up, Brodo? I see your comment there. That's right. I kind of like, actually.
Yeah, each of you give one way too early bold prediction for next season. It can be for the Flyers, but doesn't have to be. All right, who wants to start this one up?
I already know. And it's not a bold prediction. It's going to happen. Carter Hart's going to be in the Vezina. Is going to be a Vezina finalist.
Nice. I like it. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's bold. It's very possible he could wind up in that Vezina trophy talk.
It is, but after the season he just had, I feel like it's a little bold.
Yeah, true. It'll definitely be a test of his mental fortitude. If he comes back and has a Vezina year, then there should be no more doubters on Carter Hart. And if there are, then those people can be chucked off the wall with men all we want. I do not care. But, yeah, Brian. Sorry, Ralph.
I was just going to say, I won't lie, that bold prediction kind of gave me a semi. I'm just saying.
For me, Brodo.
You're welcome.
Mine, my bold prediction. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give you 2 instead of 1. First one, Kraken go to the semifinals. 2, Flyers go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Those are my bold predictions.
I mean, depending on the moves they make, I don't know how bold that is for the Flyers. I still think that's the goal.
Yeah. Retool.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Quick little retooling. I mean, if you can get a score, I think it's very possible.
This is hard. Okay. I'm going to match your intensity, Maddie. I'm going to go for 2 as well. 1 Flyers and 1 non-Flyers.
Right.
1 Flyer, 1 bold prediction. To go along with Jesse's comment before, Joel Farabee, 40-goal scorer.
Nice.
How about that? How about that now?
I like it.
Down the parking lot.
I mean, if he continues to take steps forward like he did last year, I don't know how bold that is.
Yeah.
So I guess, you guys went non-Flyers. I guess I'll go with the 1 non-Flyers one here.
All right.
Okay, I got one. The Anaheim Ducks find their way to the playoffs.
Yes. And I agree with that one.
And I think that's bold considering that the last 4 years they've been the lowest scoring offense in all of the NHL. And then you jump from that to a playoff team. Let's go, baby. That's bold.
All right.
That's bold.
That is bold.
My non-Flyers bold prediction. The Ottawa Senators will have a better record than the Montreal Canadiens.
Ooh, that is bold. I like that. Good one. Good one there. All right. So now that you've that we got this all recorded and everything, and this is officially now out there for everyone to see forever. We'll see how these hold up as the season goes into effect.
If the Kraken had a little soothsaying in them and saw the decline of Carey Price, and it's already been announced that Shea Weber's not going to be playing for them this year, and his career is in doubt right now, there could be a lot of missing pieces of the puzzle that maybe they don't have enough talent to overcome, and sort of, feeling that downtroddenness from two empty playoff runs.
Yeah, I like some of these bold predictions coming in. Berto saying his bold prediction is that the team's not going to give him any pain and suffering.
At least
being a Phillies fan, you're always going to have pain and suffering. It is what it is. Benny's Nation saying Malkin or Crosby don't finish the year with the Penguins.
Most likely Malkin out of the two.
Yeah. John saying Cooch stays healthy and has a 35-goal year. Farabee finishes with second on the team with 29. I don't know how bold that is. Both guys have, that's a couple more goals than Farabee had last year, and Cooch has been close to 35.
To be fair, though, I will admit, though, he does have a good point. Cooch can get hurt a little bit. So, yeah. All right, I'll give him that one.
Priz saying Flyers eliminate the Maple Leafs after being down 0-3 in the first round. Now, Flyers prediction, Taves wins 60% of the faceoffs this season.
I love it.
How bold is that?
Oh, my God.
He usually wins 60%.
That means he's back.
First one.
That means he's back on the ice. I get the boldness.
Oh, he's back. He's back, baby. Don't you worry about
I do
that.
like that. I like the Flyers prediction because that is so possible that could happen. And then
I need to know.
Don, here's Don's response to that, by the way.
I want to know who's biased. Who you saying is biased?
He's saying
he just says
Prism.
this guy. Is he saying Priz or is he saying me? Because I made my Ducks reference about them making the playoffs.
He's saying
no.
He's saying Priz, I believe, because of that about that 60% face-off win for the Taves.
It could be that. It could be me putting up the Kill Pittsburgh sign when you talked about Malkin or Crosby leaving.
Could be.
That's pretty biased.
Could be.
That's true.
Biased.
That's true.
And I love Jesse's here because you know what? It's possible. He's laughing. He says, "You know who?" Yeah, so he's probably talking about me. So Jesse's saying Sandstrom and Hart will have a goaltender controversy.
Interesting.
And then you got Lisa Minka behind it. You got a problem.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if that's a bold prediction in terms of Philadelphia. If anything, that's almost just the sad, morbid reality. But Ted's saying, bold prediction, Flyers become a really good power play team. That is a bold prediction. I'll give you that one.
And it's a prediction that can happen, too, when you have a healthy Kevin Hayes coming back from the sports hernia, too. Yeah. Good on both sides of the special teams.
Yeah.
I like John's new comment. That's pretty funny.
Ted, no, we have not talked about the Ghost trade yet. We will, though. We will. We're just going through the Kraken's expansion draft picks, and we'll finish that up and then talk about the stuff with the Flyers and everything else. John saying, non-Flyers, Nolan Patrick quits hockey and becomes a professional online poker player while living in Vegas.
I love it. That's great. Not only is that funny, but it's in the same realm as your mean Mercedes right now. So it's topical.
And this is why I love John. This is why I love John, because of stuff like this. He'll give you a really good challenge talking sports, but then he'll put something up like that and make you laugh.
And Jesse's saying a Swedish goaltender with the last name Sandstrom, put him in the hall already.
Yeah, and he's 25, 26 now, so he's chomping at the bit to get up.
All right, then. And we've got Chris Drieger, Florida Panthers. That was the pick that they made from there. This one was already predicted ahead of time, and it seems like they're really determined to see if he'll stay on this team, moving him forward from Florida. It's not a bad choice in terms of goaltending. Goaltending-wise, I don't think they made bad choices.
No, and this is a good one. He's had that. He's a borderline starter with Florida to begin with, and because you have Bobrovsky and Spencer Knight, somebody's got to go. And unfortunately, he was the odd man out. I think he could do good things with a good defense in front of him in Seattle.
Yeah, he's above average. He the past 2 seasons, I think he was one of the best goaltenders available in this expansion draft. Behind Price, so. I think it's a good move. The two of them together will be nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It'll be
Only
and-
38 career NHL starts, though. That's a little concerning based on the contract, but he's got talent.
Yeah, he's shown he can definitely play. Just a matter of getting him some consistent starts, and I think Seattle's going to be the best way to prove his ability here.
All right then. Next up from the New York Islanders, Jordan Eberle.
Rob, your comment yesterday was perfect. He did not look like he wanted to be there.
He looked pissed off, and he knew this for a while too. I mean, this list was released earlier in the day. Sort of the draft was more of like show, like kind of announcing it to the fans that were live there in person. But I mean, he said all the right things. You know what I mean? And he's going to contribute to that team. The Islanders are going to feel this loss. I mean, his $5.5 million cap hit through 2024 will have to be monitored, given that he's 31. So, I mean, this is some of the opposite side, like going against the grain. But he's a guy that, as long as his body holds up, he's first-line talent for Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I personally would have went Josh Bailey because I like Josh Bailey. He's younger. But Jordan Eberle, you need some vets on the team.
No, for sure. And I would have went Josh Bailey, too. I think that should have been the no-brainer. But the one plus side to having Jordan Eberle on your team is he tends to be a power play specialist. So, he's not going to give you a ton of point production on 5-on-5. He'll give you a good amount. So don't get that twisted. But he's going to do the majority of his damage on the power play.
I did see him on Twitter going, "What the fuck is a Kraken?" Just saying.
Jesse's saying he went from being a Game 7 away from beating Tampa / winning the Cup to picked to a new AHL team. I'd be pissed too.
You pissed off.
I mean, I don't blame him. Like looking at the roster, yeah, it's an AHL team, but we know they're gonna make some more moves, and we know they're gonna make some trades during the draft too. So we'll see what this team looks like. This isn't going to be the roster that they unroll on opening night.
Yeah, there should be some trades before we get to October. Benny's Nation saying Eberle will be moved before the end of the year. That's interesting.
Yeah.
He's still got a couple years left on his contract too, doesn't he?
I do believe so.
So I mean, it's a possibility.
2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, it depends on where Seattle is as far as the standings go. I'm sure we'll see some trades.
Yeah, but that's a great comment because he's likely to get moved, being of the older, more expensive variety. You know what I mean? That's what you're going to do to plug holes that you see from your team. So maybe by saying end of the year might be a little premature, but you'll see what the holes are after 2.5 months of hockey.
I just thought of some. What if, like you said, listen, man, I know that you were pissed off that you left the Islanders and you came to an expansion team. It's okay. I understand. I get it. We've decided to make up for that, and we're going to send you to Arizona in exchange for Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
That place is just a dumping ground anymore. Nobody goes to Arizona because they want to. They're going there because they're forced to. It's the only organization right now that's just any kind of cap.
If I was the Seattle team, I would do it. Just be like, oh, you want to look pissed in the expansion draft? Okay, we'll send your ass to the middle of the desert. Have fun. Have fun never competing for a cup ever again.
No, they ain't going to do him dirty like that.
I know.
Another bold prediction, Jordan Eberle is a Dallas Star by playoff time. By trade deadline time.
Interesting.
Be a good piece for them.
All right, so
all right,
you guys want to hear something crazy?
Sure.
Oh wait, hang on. I think I went into the wrong one. Give me a second.
Okay. So while you pull that up, from the Ottawa Senators, the Seattle Kraken took Joey Decord.
Oh, here we go. All right, so I think these guys are already. So Ghost is on here already. What was the other big one? Andrew Ladd. Where is he? He's not on here. Why is he not on here? Hold up.
A look inside the brain of Brian Daly.
So yeah.
Oh, it's bad right now.
So
Okay,
Joey,
so I don't know why they have a buried cap penalty, but he is on here. Okay, so the Arizona Coyotes with bringing in Andrew Ladd, who's I think was like 5.5 mil hit. Wait, really? It's only 4.3. All right. So anyway, Arizona still has $24.2 million available in cap space.
Wow.
wow, that's a lot.
That's why
Okay.
they're a dumping ground. That's why Gottschalk's contract went there. Pronger's contract went there. Marion Host's contract is there. Now you send Andrew Ladd's contract over there. You're sending Ghost his contract over there. It's literally a cap dumping ground.
Jesus.
It is. You want to clear cap space? Go in Arizona.
Well, it makes sense. What is a
Surprised
better?
David Clarkson's contract never wound up out there, or even Nathan Horton.
Or no, that was because Toronto back then was also a dumping ground for cap for a long time.
It's a dumping ground for caps. You need cap space. The worst part about it is, especially with the Islanders and the Ghost trade, they sent nothing back. So it was a pure cap move.
Yeah.
They said, here, take this. Here's a little incentive for you. We want nothing in return.
Future considerations. Future considerations.
But
I've never seen this. This is new to me. It's
too,
creative.
so
It's thinking out of the box by Chuck. I'll give him that. I mean, talking about a guy that was waived and no one claimed him. You know what I mean? So I guess that's what you had to do. I would have tried to have gotten like a later round pick back. At least get one of the picks back for the two that you're setting. But I guess that was no bueno on their end. All I could say is that they're treating this like Arizona out in the desert, like the Mafia used to. It's a buried waste ground.
Yeah,
or the Meadowlands before Giant Stadium was built,
And even Lou Lamoriello did the same exact thing. Here, we don't want Andrew Ladd's contract anymore. We're going to let you take it.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
We want nothing in return. And because we want nothing in return, we're going to sweeten the deal for you to not send us anything back. We're going to give you 4 picks.
Pretty much. That's what they did.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
From both the Flyers and the Islanders. Even more from the Islanders. But
I get what they're doing. You're freeing up cap space for your teams, and I get it. Flyers have guys they need to get re-signed. We need to go after some free agents. Same thing with the Islanders. They have guys they need to get re-signed. You have to go after a couple free agents. You got to create that cap space in a flat cap world right now.
Yeah.
But, it's just crazy to see hockey deals, 2 hockey deals in the span of a week that had no return. Yeah, future considerations, that's fine, but it's probably going to be a late draft pick down the line. But as of right now, no return. No return. It's crazy. Boggles my mind. But it is what it is. And I love it because teams are, it's a way to free up your cap space in a flat cap world.
You know what it was? It was the firstborn of Gostis Bears coming back to the Flyers. And I don't know. Does Andrew Ladd have any kids? I think he does. But so his thirdborn will be sent back to the Islanders. It'll be loose.
I didn't know they didn't get anything back in return, so I guess this isn't the first time I've seen it. But mud on.
Yeah. And I love Ted's comment. Send Arizona Jake. He can have fun out there. His grumpy old ass can retire in Arizona. And then Jesse said, saw an article about Jack Eichel to the Flyers. I swear they copy and paste random names and dump articles out there. They probably do.
It's all opinion-based articles, which is all well and good. But, if you're going to start throwing names out there, you got to at least make sure that the names that you're throwing out there are names that are actually linked to the Flyers.
Yeah.
If you want to do what we do, we're pure speculation. We're not journalists. We're broadcasters. So we don't really do any of that. We think of names that would actually be a fit, and it is not just a big name out there because he's been saying he's available. You also have to realize that Buffalo and Jack Eichel are starting to fix the problem. So Jack Eichel might start the season as a Buffalo Sabre. There's no guarantee he gets traded. Not anymore. They're starting to patch up the relationship, which is good because they need Jack Eichel.
They do. They do. They need to put a
If
team
not,
around
you
him.
send him to Southern Carolina or Southern California. They need him there too.
Or Arizona. One of them.
A random quick aside about article writing. I was so excited earlier today. I was able to work in, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, I'm a cocksmith, into an article. And it actually fit contextually. I love it. And I linked it to the scene from Wedding Crashers.
Nice.
Fucking beautiful.
Nice. Love it.
Nice.
Love it. Love it.
So let's see here. Yanni Gore taken from Tampa. We talked about that earlier.
Love
We knew
it.
they were-
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, we knew they were going to get somebody really good from Tampa. We knew.
It was between him. It was between him and Tyler Johnson.
Pretty
Honestly,
much.
I thought we were going to try and take Tyler Johnson, but I like Yanni Gord a little bit more. I think he gives you that first line, second line potential. And unfortunately, he didn't. Unfortunately, he's hurt, so he just had surgery, so he's going to be out for about 4 to 5 months. So he'll miss the start of the season. He'll probably come back, if my math is right, December. So
Yeah.
huge gain for Seattle in the long run. Gonna have to wait a little longer for his debut though.
Let's see here. Colin Blackwell from the New York Rangers. However, there is a rumor going around he might get traded back to the New York Rangers. So
I wouldn't blame him for trying to get him back. Yeah.
yeah.
That was such an under the radar pick, and as soon as they made that announcement, because that was one of the picks they didn't actually put out.
Yeah.
First thing I said in our little group chat was, love the pick. And I do. Colin Blackwell is a good third line guy who's going to give you a clutch goal when you need it.
No, I agree.
Yeah, Prez, dude, they're patching it up. Doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to be moved, but I don't know if he'll go to Calgary because everybody wants out of Calgary right now.
Arizona. Nobody wants to stay anywhere. Anywhere that has, anywhere that's like really badly ran.
Well, I don't even necessarily think Calgary's been poorly ran. I just think that Calgary just never really fulfilled its full potential. And you have guys like Johnny who wants out, but he wants out because he just doesn't want to be. He never wanted to be there in the first place. It kind of is what it is. Players have their preferences on where they want to be. If Eichel gets traded, it's not because of him wanting to be out of Buffalo. It's they're not building around him. They're not treating him like a franchise piece. And after a while, it's just kind of like, I'm tired of this losing culture. You're not utilizing me. You're not building around me. You might as well just send me somewhere.
Yeah, true. DB's here. What's up, DB?
DB, what's good?
Oh, what's up?
You missed a little bit. We were going through the Kraken's picks and talking a little bit about the trades and such, but yeah, that's pretty much what we've been doing. Also, Arizona's a dumping ground, but that's not really news. All right, on to
A cap dumping ground. You got to make sure you're that specific.
oh well, yeah. Also, kind of a player dumping ground too. Some unwanted players have gone there. Phil Kessel left Pittsburgh and went there. Apparently, Pittsburgh didn't want him. Well, the fans did, but they didn't. But anyway, on to Carson Twarynski from the Flyers. We talked about this earlier. Not really a big loss for Philly, so it is what it is on that one.
Yeah, I was still surprised that he went that route. I mean, Hack had some experiences with him, and he liked him. 23 years old. So it still has some development to do, but I think could be a good bottom fourth line guy for them. Energy guy.
Yeah, I agree. All right, then. So next up on the list, we have Tyler Pitlick, who was taken from the Arizona Coyotes and then flipped immediately to the Calgary Flames in exchange for the 2022 fourth-round pick received from the Calgary Flames. Okay.
I love it for Calgary. I loved it for Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, I like Pitlick. I thought he was fun to have on the Flyers. It just, he was one of those fun depth players who's got that fiery personality to him, and he's fun to watch on that fourth line because he's always doing something. You know what I mean? So for Calgary, not bad for their fourth line. I think it improves it.
Yeah, DB gets it. DB gets it. This is why we keep him around. He said Seattle has 28 million cap space. They're going to be a good team after free agency opens up, and I 1,000% agree with that.
Yep. Benny's name saying reunited with Lou.
Yeah, the Priz's comment here is saying that he heard the Isles are both in on Sutter and Parisi. They'd be dumb not to. They're good. They're good depth guys now.
They are. They really, really are. All right. So next up, John Quinville from the Chicago Blackhawks.
Career AHL guy. Nothing special.
Yep.
Priz, how does that make you feel? All right. On to Jonas Donskoy, which, of course, Rob, you were talking about. Good pick for the Kraken on a veteran D-man there.
No, yeah, I really thought it was a fine pick, basically coming out of Colorado. JT Compher might have been a superior choice there, but the key is Jonas. He's signed through 2023, and he's proved he's a middle six. He's done it in this league for a while, not only with the Avalanche but with the Sharks as well. Another good veteran presence that knows the NHL that can help lead a lot of youngsters around him. I just think it was a good name to have on this team. It was a good pick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. For every reason you just said there, Rob. Yeah, Prince, what do you think of that Quinville pick?
The
Career
Quinville?
AHLer, man, he ain't nothing special.
Yeah, the Quinville pick. That's what we're talking about, man. What did you feel about losing him to the Kraken?
Yeah, DB. Maybe not right away, but yeah, they'll have a solid defense in a couple of years when they develop a couple of these younger guys.
Prism saying loved it. They left DeHaan alone.
I do like Calvin DeHaan. I'll be honest with you. I know he's not a great player, but I like him enough.
So let's see here. Next up, Jamie Alexiak from the Dallas Stars, one of the bigger names that was going to be taken and was by the Seattle Kraken from the Dallas Stars.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Great veteran guy. He'll be the leader of that defense, and obviously we have another big name that's probably my prediction is he's going to wind up being the captain, but I think Alexiak's going to be a guy who a lot of these younger guys are going to be able to learn and develop with.
We got Ralph chiming in. What's up, Ralph?
Ralphie.
Hello, Ralphie. Yeah, I mean, he could be a borderline elite shutdown defenseman in this league. So I mean, it's 4.6 million cap hit. They need to build up that the cap space a little bit. So I like it overall. It's a solid get, but I think it's no sweat off the Stars' back. I think they were already prepared to lose him regardless.
Yeah, especially after signing Miro to his huge contract.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of expected something along those lines to happen where they were going to select a defenseman. I mean, outside of the guys they protected, there's not a whole ton of attractive pieces. So, I mean, you got to pick somebody from Dallas. I'm good with them selecting Jamie Alexiak. I mean, like I said, he's a solid top four defenseman with a lot of leadership capabilities.
Yeah. First, I'm saying he's a big physical guy that I can at least pencil in right now. I'm losing defensemen like prom night V cards.
I still had my V card after prom night.
That's all right, man. It's not really like it's a requirement for prom night.
Yeah, but it was still pretty sad. I was actually going to skip it because my date blew me off, but...
Well, fuck her, by the way, for doing that.
Bitches.
DB saying, I mean, they took a good mix of vets and swing for the fences type of players who are between 23 and 25. That's all they could do with our sacrificing cap.
Damn, Don taking shots at me? Damn, that's almost personal. You almost cut me. You almost cut me real deep.
And then Dallas saying, we were already going to let Jamie walk. That's true. Prison being the Dallas fan, too. And Frankie saying, I heard physical. Are we reenacting Olivia Newton-John videos? No, we are not. I don't know if anybody wants to see that. But anyway.
No, just you, Frank. You're the only one.
Moving on from the Minnesota Wild, Carson Soucy.
Not a terrible pick. Again, another defenseman. I think things are okay where they are as far as defensemen go. Like I said, they're going to be a real solid defense in a year or two. I think Soucy's going to be a nice pick, and Minnesota hugely benefited from them taking that pick, and I expect them to take Katkinen with the pick. 25-year-old goaltender who, let's be real, played real well last year. He had his moments, but I thought he was going to be the pick from Minnesota. They wound up going with Soucy, and he's not a terrible pick.
Seattle should have thrown a ton of money at Kaprizov and just stole him right out from under Minnesota. Oh my God, that would have cemented the rivalry right there between those two teams.
It's like Ovi. He's like Ovi. If he doesn't wind up back in Minnesota, he's going to go back to KHL.
Yeah, most likely, but that would have been funny as hell. But anyway, Brandon Tanev from the Pittsburgh Penguins, which, it's a little bit of a loss there for Pittsburgh. Tanev was a pretty good role player.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Next up on that list, Nashville, Calle Yarncroke, coming from there.
I like that move. Good middle six guy. Has some playmaking ability, has some goal scoring ability, but can also play physical, get in the dirty areas. A lot of good intangibles, and he's a blue collar guy, and I think the Seattle fans are going to like him a lot. I know Nashville fans did.
And Edmonton, they snagged Adam Larson from the Oilers.
Another big move. He's not as old as I thought. Definitely thought he was like mid-30s. Clearly wrong. Another good leadership, experienced defenseman.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have the Los Angeles Kings pick, Curtis McDermott. I actually kind of like that name, honestly. Even though, what would you say? Is that a hockey? I don't know if that's a hockey name. Is that it sounds more like a baseball name. Curtis McDermott. See him coming up to the plate and hitting a home run. But anyway, DB, feel free to give your opinion on that one, brother. Let's see here. St. Louis, they took Vince Dunn, which we were kind of thinking they would. The Blues have been big on Dunn for a long time, but it just seemed like it wasn't clicking. So now there's a real opportunity for him to kind of find that footing in the NHL here with the Kraken.
Yeah, I mean, Dunn's 24. He's done nothing but produce offensively at the NHL level. He fell out of favor there. I think it's an A+ move.
Definitely thought they were going Tarasenko with all the rumors. Vince Dunn was a good move. I think it's a little bit of a better move than going Tarasenko. You don't have to worry about so much injuries that he does. But yeah, good move. To Rob's point, he produces, which is what you want.
Yep. Alexander Tate from San Jose Sharks, prospect player. And next up, Mark Giordano from the Calgary Flames. This is probably the one that we were talking about being a captain.
Absolutely. Rob, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, it isn't what Giordano used to be. You know what I mean? But he can still play. He's 37. I think he has one remaining year on his contract, which means there's little risk, kind of a no-brainer. I think he was definitely the most attractive out of the unprotected list for Calgary.
No, for sure. And, again, yeah, they're going to have a solid defense. You got a lot of experience back there. You have a lot of leadership and a lot for these guys to learn from. A lot of these guys are bringing in are big on communication and, Giordano, I think, is going to be the first captain for this team, and I think rightfully so.
All right, then. And now we go to the Anaheim Ducks, Hayden Fleury. Bry, what is your opinion?
I have no opinion. No,
Okay.
I love it. I love it for Seattle. You know, another young defenseman. Guy can produce offensively. He can be a bit of an agitator on the defensive side. Could rip it from the point, which is great. You know, I was hoping to hang on to him. You know, there's a lot of potential in this kid. And we gave up Hakanpää in the draft pick to get him. I was hoping we were going to hold on to him. I was kind of hoping they were going to take Henrique. As much as I hated it, but you know, good luck to him. He reunites with his brother, and they're going to get a chance to play on Seattle together. So,
I would say this though. I would have wanted to keep Hakanpää, not just because of the player, but just because of that fucking name. It's so goddamn awesome.
well, Carolina gets to keep him.
That's true, but it sounds like an ice cream. Hakanpää's. It sounds like an ice cream. Honest to God. Anyway, put it right next to Haagen-Dazs. Haagen-Dazs. To me, it just seems like it makes sense. Anyway, so up to the Winnipeg Jets, Mason Appleton. Most people were suspecting Appleton was going to go, and he wound up going.
I mean, I don't know about you, Rob. I didn't know who they were going to take from Winnipeg.
Yeah, I was clueless as well. I got to admit. I mean, he got buried under Appleton. That is under a number of more name brand acquisitions. That could have been gone there. I mean, you could have argued that DeMello was a better option, maybe. I don't know though, but I'm not extremely familiar with these players.
Yeah, I mean, Appleton's another younger guy. Well, yeah, I thought DeMello would have been a much better pick. This is what it is, I guess. I mean, I don't know a ton about Appleton, but I didn't know who they're going to take from Winnipeg.
There was a lot of talk, I think, mostly on like Canada and stuff like that, about the choice they were going to make from Winnipeg, and they were thinking Appleton. So there was a decent amount of talk about him possibly going, only because of a lot of the reasons why you guys brought up. Appleton's a good enough player. It's just he seems like he was getting buried in the system. So that's why they wound up taking him. So let's see here. The final pick that we have here, Washington, Vitek Vanacek. We talked about that earlier. Good picks goaltending-wise. Drieger seems like he can play at a really top NHL level. Vanacek, too. Both of them proved themselves in this crazy-ass season we just got done.
What's good about him is he's still on his entry-level deal, I believe. So that's a great asset for Seattle.
Yeah, for sure. And they got a solid backup.
Yeah, so far, that's pretty much the Seattle team. One of those players is already gone. We might see other ones leave as well before it's all said and done. And DB was saying Fleury brothers equal Bash brothers from D2 confirmed. And also, Jesse's saying best part of being an expansion team is is all the capital you get with defensemen, so valuable for trades, which I agree.
Absolutely.
Prism saying Appleton had Carter Verhaeghe type upside, moving up a few lines, can play all three forward slots. Yeah, there was that stuff. He was a big pick when he was taken. It's just one of those things of like I said, he got buried in that Winnipeg system.
Question before we go on to these.
Yeah.
You're concerning me with your love for Carter Verhaeghe. I have to ask you a question. You fall asleep with a poster of Carter Verhaeghe over your bed.
It's possible.
Where most guys have like supermodels or like maybe like a mirror where they're trying to look at themselves because they have an ego issue. Do you have a poster of Carter Verhaeghe hanging over your bed? I have to know. I mean, this is getting unhealthy.
I mean, at least if he's going to have an affection for an athlete, at least it's a good athlete. Verhaeghe's a good one. At least. We can give him that much. But,
his response. Says if I could find one, I would.
That is a great response from Prism. DB saying, should the Kraken use Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit as their goal song? Yes, they absolutely should. They might as well Seattle it up. They also should give free joints out at the every game.
Well, maybe not as a goal song, but their song as they enter the ice for the first time during the home games, absolutely. 'Cause you got that drum intro. You got the yeah. I think that'd be awesome. They'd have them skate out in the guitar intro.
And then just saying, "I have the crackhead" should be the Kraken's goal song. Oh yes, by the way, the Kraken's new arena's name is the Crack House. That's official. It is the Crack House from this point forward. So enjoy watching games from the Crack House, future Seattle Kraken fans.
I actually like that. That's pretty. That's kind of creative.
So there we go. It is officially anointed. So from now on, instead of saying like the Sharks Arena, it's the Shark Tank. You can call whatever you want for whatever other fucking team. But for Seattle, the Kraken it's the Crack House from now on. Enjoy the Crack House.
I love Benny's comment here. He said he subscribed to his OnlyFans, referring to Frizz on Carter Verhage.
Oh god, that's great. Oh. Surprised the Kraken jerseys is not plaid design. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, these are save them for when you meet the Kraken. Save it for when your respective team meets the Kraken. Don't worry, you'll have plenty of chances to talk. What's up?
Keep him.
Sorry, bro, you're breaking up again, brother.
Yeah, fade now, brother.
Oh, all right then. So while we go through that, while Bri has to take care of those issues, bring up the transactions and news here real quick, get them run down through, and also some free agent stuff. So these are the only free agent signings so far. That's Jamie Alexiak, Larson, and Drieger. They're the only ones currently on contracts, and that's with Seattle. Jamie was on a 5-year deal for $23 million. Adam Larson was on a 4-year for a 16er, and Chris was on a 3-year, $10 million. So those were the only free agents currently right now signed. Everything else, we're still waiting for the rest of the free agency to pick up and open. Meanwhile, transaction and news here. NHL schedule was released, and it does have an Olympic break in it in February. So if you missed the NHL athletes in the Winter Olympics, fear not, they will be back for the 2022 Winter Olympics. So there you go. Next up, we go to Vancouver. Will match any offer sheet presented to Elias Pettersson, and they are looking for a 4 to 5 year deal for Pettersson. So that's some news coming out of Vancouver there, because we all know that Benning is not afraid of making deals. So that's the main reason why that's a big news topic.
I think I'm good here, boys. I don't.
Okay.
Do I
Cool.
still sound like I'm breaking up at all?
No, you're good now.
Okay.
You're good.
All right, cool. Wi-Fi is acting up as always.
Yeah, good old Wi-Fi. Let's see here.
I'm hoping Spectrum down in North Carolina, because that'll probably be my next show is in 2 weeks. Hope it's better.
Hopefully, right? Now we go to big news for the New York Rangers. They did sign Barclay Goodrow. They traded for his rights, and they signed him to a 6-year, $3.6 million per year contract.
You go ahead, Robbie.
I think it's making them stronger. It's definitely not what I want to hear.
Yeah, good depth player. Good third line guy.
Yeah, I agree. And the New York Rangers, this was the deal that they made to get Goodrow. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because this happened in between shows. So any deals that happened in between shows, I'll bring them up here. New York Rangers trade 7th round pick in the 2022 draft to Tampa Bay in exchange for Barclay Goodrow's rights, which finishes and concludes with them signing him to that 6-year deal. So wins all around. On to Taylor Hall signing a 4-year, $6 million per year contract with the Boston Bruins. He did show a lot of good strength on that secondary scoring, and the Bruins absolutely need secondary scoring because it seemed like the perfection line was the only one pulling their weight on the offense. So he did show something with Boston, and Boston rewarded him with a 4-year deal.
Yeah, I think it's a better fit. Certainly a situation where he doesn't have to be the guy, but he could be in that supportive role, and he, did well, and he definitely got paid for it. I mean, you're surprised he keeps on getting money.
What's funny though is, and one of my buddies pointed this out to me at the hockey store. Anytime Taylor Hall signs a long-term deal anywhere, that team gets a first-round pick.
That's true. That's true.
Only place it didn't happen is Arizona.
That's because it's Arizona. Nothing good ever happens in Arizona.
And he didn't sign a contract there. He was traded there.
That is true. He was traded there by the Devils. But
Rain X Speed saying hi. Hi, Rain.
hey, what's going on, man? Benny's Nation saying that's a good deal for Boston. And it is. It is. Get secondary scoring for 4 years. Decent price. It's not a bad option.
No, I love it. I love it for Boston. It's a team-friendly deal and gives them a little bit more leeway.
Yep. All right, so let's see. So let's get to that. The Flyers trade Shane Gostisbehere to the Arizona Coyotes along with a 2nd and 7th round 2022 draft pick in exchange for nothing. Nothing!
I hated to see it happen. Like I said, I've always liked Shane since we drafted him, and it was great. It was encouraging seeing his play uptick, in this past season. One of the few bright spots that the season had, but the holes are just glaring, and you need to free up the cap space. And what it indicates to me is that they're ready to play. You know what I mean? You don't do a deal like this and not expect to make other bigger moves. So that for that sake alone, it was good to see.
Yeah, it's the start of something new. I think Shane, of all the players on this roster right now, needed a restart. Wasn't the same after that knee injury, and I think he's going to do well in Arizona. It's a smaller market, not going to have as huge of a spotlight on him, and he could just focus on getting back to the defenseman that he was.
Yeah,
played well under Hackstall, but Laviolette was He kind of came down after Hackstall was fired, and his play kind of depleted a little bit. I mean, you started to see him finally get back with AV, but I think he's got a better opportunity out in front of him in Arizona. Like I said, it's a smaller market, less of a spotlight. He can get back to being the player that he was.
Yeah. We always said he needed a change of scenery. Here's that change of scenery.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't take back any salary, so good deal. That's what Benny's Nation's saying. DB's also saying in Buffalo. I'm going to assume that's to piggyback off of nothing good ever happens in Arizona comment I made. Prism saying, gave up too much to move an expiring contract, but if it gets someone nice, it'll be okay. But a second, I was thinking 4th.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
I mean, you got to sweeten the deal. You got to sweeten the deal to just have them take it, period.
Yeah.
You're not asking for anything in return, but you have to sit there and say, hey, we don't want anything in return, but take Ghost, and we'll give you 2 draft picks. Don't send us anything back.
So who would you say is a better trading partner, the Kings and the Flyers or the Coyotes and the Flyers? Because I feel like the Coyotes have been very good to us over these last few years, taking dead contracts like Prongers. On top of that, taking Gostisbehere off our hands. I tell you right now, Arizona has been just a good friend to us here in Philadelphia.
Yep.
All right,
for sure.
But let's see here. DB saying only 1-year contract with no movement clause. And then, yeah, Jesse saying, does this mean can York plays to start the season? I could see it happening. I think York deserves an opportunity to really kind of find his spot here on this roster. He was a number first round draft pick. See if I can word that properly. He was a first round draft pick, so you might want to give him a good opportunity for him to make the team. But also it does depend on training camp as always. If he has a rough training camp and a rough preseason, I can see them putting him down in the Phantoms and maybe give him a chance to get onto the team as the season progresses.
As it stands right now, I say he makes a team. If they add another defenseman on any level, whether that be a Dougie Hamilton, whether that be a Ryan Sutter on a cheaper contract, maybe that makes it a little bit more challenging. And either way, he's going to develop. He's going to develop with the Phantoms. He's going to develop, on the NHL level. But a first round draft pick, is worthy, and he's shown that he can. In the few games we saw him last season, that he could play at this level.
Yeah, and I think he does find his way on the opening roster to start. Maybe you have Haig plug him in as your 7th D man. And depending on how he plays, maybe in those first couple weeks where you have that leeway to send him back down, you use that option. I mean, it all depends on how good his camp is. I think he's got the potential, but question is, can he sustain it and be productive up on the top level?
I agree. DB saying nothing is about to have a breakout year. Yeah, he's playing for 2 teams too, by the way, which is pretty impressive. I don't think any other NHL player in history has ever accomplished that feat, being on 2 teams at the same time. Prism saying also cap space will be my first Flyers jersey, which is an excellent joke to make right there, my good man. Don saying, hey, I know one thing, the Hurricanes has been good to us. And let's see here. Ted saying, how is that a legal trade? We got nothing. That's not really a trade. You're right, it's not. It's like what Brian said. Dump. That's pretty much what it is.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's a dump.
I mean, you got to be creative in these times. They didn't expect this. Wasn't supposed to be a flat cap. That was, a result of the pandemic. So, it's these strange times elicit for like I said, I never thought I'd live to see the day. I'm gonna trade you a player and draft picks. Don't worry about giving me nothing. I'm good.
Yeah. Hey, we good. We good. Straight up. We're fine. I don't even want cash. Well, you want to send me a bag of pucks? That's okay. You need them more. I'm fine.
Yeah. But I mean, not having to take on any of his salary is worth it. That's what you're getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get it. And then, ultimately, if it brings or if you're able to, take care of re-signing Hart and Sanheim, and make this team better, then in the end, it's a good trade, right?
I think so.
Absolutely. And I think this trade is going to help the Flyers get better.
Absolutely.
Jesse, so you say Hayes, Jake, and Patrick for Eichel. So who's going to go to Vegas for Patrick? Who goes to Vegas? Does Hayes go to Vegas? Jake goes to Buffalo. Eichel goes to Philly.
No, our luck we would get Hayes. Our luck we get Hayes back, and then Eichel would go to Vegas.
I'm just busting the stones because Nolan Patrick was traded to Vegas.
And then Patrick would go to Buffalo. How fitting.
Send his ass to Buffalo.
Literally, Hayes goes one way and comes right back. What a weird fucking deal that would be. Although, to be fair, the Flyers have made some weird deals. Do you know that actually the Flyers did have Yari Curry for 2 seconds and then flipped him to L.A.?
Yeah.
That actually happened in history. But anyway. All right.
Yep.
On to Arizona wants to trade back into the first round. So this ties into those trades, quote unquote. They want to trade back into the first round. If not, plan B is to utilize the large stock of picks that they're acquiring at this point. So in case you're wondering what the game plan is for Arizona, that's their game plan, is try to get back into the first round, since they were penalized for, doing a combine way too fucking early because, Arizona's an idiot. But, what are you going to do? So that's their plan.
They have a ton of picks.
Do you think that would accomplish that feat, though? I feel like they would. Like, do you think that the picks enough would be enough to get them into that first round? I feel like you'd have to trade OEL too on top of that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they have a stockpile. I mean, but for both this year and next year too. So, you could dish one of the picks that we gave.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in order to get a first, you're gonna. Depends on where they want to fall in. Do they want to be a top 10 pick? Do they want to fall into somewhere in that middle? Do they want to be a lower end first round pick? I mean, this draft isn't going to be great. There's a few names on there that I see that kind of pique my interest, and obviously Owen Power is one of them. But I mean, depends on what they're trying to do. I mean, they may have to move a guy like Oliver Ekman-Larsson to get a first round pick. Maybe you don't have to.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So keep your eyes on Arizona to see what weird shit they're going to try and pull to see if they can sneak into the first round tomorrow. But buyout deadline is the 27th. The NHL made that official. So if you have any players that you're planning on buying out, good sirs, the 27th is your deadline. Carolina Hurricanes trading, by the way, to the Detroit Red Wings in exchange for a Jonathan Bernier. They traded the Detroit Red Wings Jonathan Bernier in exchange as well a 2021 third-round pick. They traded them Nedeljkovic. Sorry, I got a little confused there.
Blew my mind. I don't know what Carolina was thinking on that one.
Yeah, I would say that's the big head-scratching trade so far because you have a young goaltender who really showed a lot last year, and then you trade him to Detroit. Don't get me wrong, Detroit could absolutely use a young, up-and-coming goaltender, but, so could you. So it's interesting that they did that trade. Maybe they have a prospect in the pipeline I don't know of, but it's a weird deal because you're getting Jonathan Bernier back. Nothing against Bernier. He's definitely older.
What are you thinking on that one, Robbie?
Say again. Sorry.
The Nedeljkovic trade. Night, Tommy.
Night, Tommy.
I don't know. This is a head scratcher for me.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, Rock Mrazek over Nedeljkovic?
Well, then, yeah, now it's going to be
surprising for sure. Yeah,
it is because now you got Mrazek and Bernier as your tandem instead of Nedeljkovic, who's young and up and coming. Now you got two veteran goaltenders. Nothing against either one of them. They both played well. One's played well in Carolina, the other one played well in Detroit. But,
it just, I really thought that was their future there. You know what I mean? That's who they were rearing them. So to, kind of do an about face of 180 there, that's why I'm surprised.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm with you there, Robbie, because he's not as young as people think. I think he's about 25, 26, so he's about to hit that prime. And I believe he finished last year with the goals against under 2. So I mean that's huge. And to trade him to Detroit for essentially a bag of peanuts is mind-boggling. And just going to show you that Steve Yzerman is a god among men when it comes to trading assets.
Yeah, I could agree. He pulled that off. That's a pretty good deal right there. Next up on the trade list, New York Islanders trade Andrew Ladd and a second-round 2021 pick, a conditional 2022 second-round pick, and a 2023 third-round conditional pick to Arizona in exchange for, wait for it, nothing! Again. Gotta love Arizona.
I got nothing here on this one, boys.
I mean, it's just creativeness, you know what I mean? Like trying to free up space. That's what it is, plain and simple.
Yeah, no, It's absolutely what it is. And like I was saying earlier, it's welcome to flat cap hockey.
Yeah, we should do this more often. But on to the Detroit Red Wings trade Richard Panik and a second-round pick to the New York Islanders for a 2021 draft in exchange for Nick Leddy.
I kind of like this deal for Detroit. Again, you're bringing in more leadership on the back end. You're bringing in a guy who's, I think, won it before. I think he won it with Chicago. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Maybe. I forget.
Anyway, bringing a guy with experience, leadership, another guy who can do a lot of good for a young Detroit team.
It'll be an interesting move because, Panik's now on the move for the second time. He got moved at the trade deadline, and now he's moved once again. Interesting.
Leddy and Moritz Seider D-line. Yeah, that's a good D-line there, Yzerman is doing some good things with the Red Wings right now.
Jesse Coyotes are like the NHL's bankruptcy bank.
Plenty of get out of jail free cards there out in the desert.
Yeah. And Don saying Letty and Moretz cider D line. That's it. That's not a bad D line at all, actually. That's an interesting one. I like that. So let's see here. Next up, Vancouver. Their trade was a third-round pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft to the Detroit Red Wings in exchange for Jason Dickinson.
Yeah, that's an all right depth move. Don't know much about Dickinson.
Prism. Detroit making moves, and I got to talk about Quinville. We got Tev NFX. So, will you guys be on tomorrow? No, we won't be on tomorrow talking about the draft, unfortunately. However, though, we will definitely talk about it next week. Trust me, that'll be the centric part of the show, reviewing the Flyers draft.
And Anaheim getting Matty Beignet. What's going to be between him and Dylan Gunther? I don't think they could really. I don't know if there's any other real way to go. You got to get in top three. You're going best available, and they're the two best, in my opinion. I'm happy with either guy.
So let's see here. We've got San Jose Sharks making a trade. They did a goaltender for goaltender deal. Josef Koronar and a second-round pick in the 2022 entry draft to Arizona for goaltender Aiden Hill. Meanwhile, the Toronto Maple Leafs trade Philip Hallander and a seventh-round pick in the 2023 draft to the Penguins in exchange for Jared McCann, whom was taken in the expansion draft, which is why I brought that up, that it seemed like McCann was sent to Toronto strictly to be taken, to not lose Kerfoot.
I could see that strategy now. I could see that now that you put it that way. McCann was a fine little player, you know what I mean? And certainly it's going to be a loss for Pittsburgh, you know, originally and ultimately Toronto.
And let's see here. We've got the Vegas Golden Knights trade defenseman Nick DeSimone and a fourth-round pick in the 2022 draft to the Rangers in exchange for forward Brett Howden.
Yeah. Again, another move.
And now, finishing it off with last but certainly not least to end the show, we talk about the Philadelphia Flyers trading Philip Myers and Nolan Patrick to the Nashville Predators in exchange for the man, Ryan Ellis, coming to Philadelphia, who will be wearing, for the very first time in history, no Flyer has worn this number, ever. Number 49. So, no Flyer in history has ever worn that number. He will wear that number now. So that's
49?
Yeah, 49.
Flip it, 94.
94. Oh, yeah, 94. My bad. Either way, doesn't matter. 94.
I was going to say 49's been worn before. Brian Savage wore 49.
Yeah, you're right.
Even Farabee when he first came in.
I don't know why my dyslexia kicked in at that moment. My bad. But anyway, 94 there for Ryan Ellis. First ever wearer of that. Hopefully that'll be a marker for it. But yeah, so then after that, Vegas then flipped, or no, not Vegas. Nashville flipped Patrick in exchange to Vegas for Cody Glass.
I mean, you knew Ryan Ellis wasn't going to be able to wear number 4. I mean, Barry Ashby's number 4 is retired up in the rafters, so you knew that wasn't coming. It's just a matter of what number is he going to go with.
94 is a good year, you know, definitely. Bringing a new era in his career, you know, for certain. And yeah, it was a good, I think a really good 3-player deal. I mean, you know, Vegas, I guess, is taking the biggest risk because, you know, Patrick is just so unproven, you know, at this point in his career. But what are they really giving up? I mean, in Cody Glass. I mean, don't get me wrong, a fine young player, but I think it's a good gamble.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you still have some huge question marks on Nolan Patrick. Is he going to live up to the hype of being a number 2 overall pick? And he had a good rookie year, nothing spectacular, and then a solid second year, and then he was dealing with migraine issues. So you gotta ask yourself, are these migraine issues going to affect him long term?
Right.
So it's better to get him out of Philly and find out somewhere else. It's I think it's a high risk or it's a low risk, high reward situation for Vegas because you're not giving up a ton to get him. I mean, you just gave up Cody Glass.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the loss here, I think, to Prince's point, is Phil Myers. I mean, yes, he had a very down year this past season, but I mean, he looked strong and promising. I mean, the only thing I could say is that Myers sort of he was a very low draft pick, and he kind of came out of nowhere. So maybe, we're seeing more of who Phil Myers is, but we got a glimpse of a player that really could be a good two-way defenseman. And, that goal he scored against the Boston Bruins to, match them back in that round robin game and really jam it down their throats shows a good hunger in a kid. So, yeah, I wish him well in Nashville, not too well.
Yeah. So
he actually wound up going undrafted.
He was undrafted.
That's
what it was, yeah.
we signed him to what, a 3-year deal?
So same difference.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't matter. He was still unproven at the end of the day, and the Flyers took a chance on him like we took a chance on guys like a Marc-Edouard Bellemare, who turned out to be a pretty darn good player, enough for the Golden Knights to take him. But in the end, though, and also we found Sergei Bobrovsky, too. You're welcome, Florida and Columbus, especially Columbus, best years of your entire franchise's existence. But in the end, that's pretty much it for what's been happening transactions-wise. So, Ryan Ellis, welcome to Philadelphia for the 3 players that are now going to be alumni members of the Philadelphia Flyers. Ghost, good luck in Arizona. Have fun with that shit show out there. Hopefully you can rediscover your game and be a bright spot on a otherwise absolutely just devastated and pillaged Arizona team. And on top of that, good luck to Phil Myers in Nashville. Hopefully he has a decent run. And for Nolan Patrick, you want it out of Philly. Wish granted. Have fun in Vegas. Maybe you'll be on the team. Maybe you won't be. But who knows? Watch him win a cup because he just happens to be at the right place, right time with that fucking Vegas team. But oh well, is what it is. Anyway, that's that. We'll see you guys next week. We thank you all for joining us for another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. There was a ton to talk about this week. There'll definitely be stuff to talk about next week. We'll break down the Flyers draft choices, and we'll see we'll kind of grade what their draft was like, and we'll see if they pick in the first round. They may not even do that. They may make a trade. Who knows? But that's next week. Until then, guys, we were brought to you by Body Check Wellness, but we were also brought to you by other sponsors as well. Gentlemen, one important thing in life is confidence, not just in life in feeling great at your job, feeling great at this, but also very important with the ladies as well. Bri, where's the best place for those gentlemen to go to unlock that confidence?
You go to manscaped.com, use promo code A2D, gets you 20% off. I mean, women do things to make themselves feel good, feel clean. Guys do the same thing. Get rid of that junk funk for your ladies.
Absolutely. 20% off. Good deal right there. Also, by the way, Brian, if they like the show and they like the whole station of A2D, where can they go to sponsor? Or not sponsor, but support?
You can head on over to PhillyDrinkers.com. That's Philly Drinkers LLC. Those guys take good care of you. Got a lot of great merch over there, all kinds of fun stuff. T-shirts, hats, stickers, socks, blankets, all kinds of great A2D stuff. So head on over to PhillyDrinkers.com. That's Philly Drinkers LLC.
All right then. And like we said before, we were brought to you by the Counseling Center Sunrise Detox. If you or a loved one have any mental illnesses or addiction issues, get the help you need. 856-651-8117. Don't waste time. That's always very serious. You want to get that taken care of as soon as possible. All Campus, they're giving 20% off everything in the store, including hats, shirts, and team cornhole sets for all subscribers. So get subscribed to A2D Radio. And check out All Campus OC anyway, because they're awesome. John's awesome. And they do a lot of great stuff over there. So check that out and wear your team colors with pride.
And they also have some A2D stuff over there as well, a couple T-shirts, and I believe they have a tumbler as well.
Absolutely. And for all's out there looking to buy or sell a home or looking for a change in career or brokerage, Alan Foy at eXp Realty LLC. Give him a call at 302-682-8820 or visit him on the web at alan.foy at exprealty.com. Big step in life. You want to make it right, Alan Foy's the guy to go to. And finishing up our row of sponsors before we get back to the show, one is Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal. If you got any aches and pains, listen, man, they're the guys to go to. Cherry Hill in Burlington. Brian knows he had some shoulder problems. He went to go see them, and his shoulder has been never better.
Yeah, they do a great job over there, dude. Like I said, if you feel like you need to go there, schedule an appointment. They'll check it out. They'll create a schedule for you and a program for you. Allie in Burlington, she was amazing for me. And then Carrie and Cherry Hill, I don't know if she's still there or not, but Carrie and Cherry Hill did a great job as well. They're a great team over there. They're a bunch of rock stars. So definitely, if you're having any kind of issues, definitely check them out.
Also, congratulations are in order for Specialized Physical Therapy on being named the 2021 Best Physical Therapy Clinic in South Jersey by the Courier Post.
Oh,
Well deserved.
wow.
Well deserved.
Congratulations, guys. Excellent.
Like I said, they're rock stars. And Robbie here just proved the point. So
That's
go
what
check them out.
Absolutely. Get those aches and pains taken care of. Hey, we just told you all the evidence you ever need. Get it taken care of. All right, Body Check Wellness, our show sponsor. 20% off your order you can get with the A2D code. When Riley Cote, the man who created it, is on with us, then you can get 40% off. They're a line of products using hemp. They also have THC-free products, edibles, gummies, ointments. They help get you focused and clear and help balance out your life, because we all know life can be stressful. We know that 50 million things can happen at one time, and you're spinning around just wondering, God, how am I supposed to get all this taken care of? This is a way to do it. It'll help you get driven, help you get focused, help you find that balance and clarity. Rob will tell you right now, he took that stuff and he had done amazing with it.
Yeah, I need to take some more right the fuck now. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little overwhelmed. I'll be honest. So it's getting a little late, so I'll just probably wait for my morning vitamins.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us once again for another run through on the Hockey Happy Hour, another trip into the hockey world. We'll have another one next week for you, and it should be fun. We're going through the NHL entry draft picks from the Philadelphia Flyers and pretty much taking a look at the draft as a whole from the other teams as well. So we thank you guys for joining us. For all of us here, I am Matt Sassooni, along with the Darkwing Brian Daly.
I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Next time I'll be on this airwaves, I'm going to be in Garner, North Carolina.
Absolutely. And also, Bri, good luck on your travels, and good luck getting all set up over there in Carolina.
Appreciate it, boys.
All right, then. And also for the broken one, Rob Povia.
Good night, gentlemen.
We will see you guys next week right here on A2DRadio.com. Peace and love, everyone.